Talking a fair bit of local footy the last few weeks. The local locker room, yes, it has been a part of Sunday Sports Central as we've been building up to all the Metropolitan Leagues starting in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Last week, of course, on the show, we announced the Northern Football League and the Essendon District Footy League inductees into the Locker Room Hall of Fame. We caught up with Jason Heatley, the former Saint, Dennis Bicer, who also doubles up as the media manager of the Western Bulldogs. They're going to be coaching their sides on March 29, which is going to be a big day. Put it in the diary if you're a local footy fan at Visy Park before all the leagues kick off the week after. We announced the winners of the $500 cashback voucher from Sports Support in Joe Ahmed and also Dennis Bicer, the EDFL coach, for accumulating the most votes during the voting. And we announced the players of the Eastern Football League and also the VAFA who made the shortlist for the Locker Room Hall of Fame. This week we're going to chat to a good supporter of ours, Grant Williams, the General Manager of AFL Victoria. He's going to give us some insights into how the Metro concept was brought to life. We'll catch up with Metro Championship coaches, Simon Lethlean, who also works at the AFL, of course. He's coach of the VAFA, and Dan Donati, who coaches Balwyn in the Eastern Football League. He's going to be coaching the EFL in that game on March 29. Great to welcome my co-host, Ben Charles of sportsupport.com.au. Log on, they'll help your footy club in the last frantic weeks as we build up to the season. Probably good to see you, Ben.
Yeah, thanks, BP. Good afternoon. Great to be here. And for many out there, I suppose it was the first sore Sunday with the practice matches just starting for local footy in a lot of leagues.
It was, yes. I was in Sydney yesterday. I know the Cobras had a run around yesterday and yeah, just to blow the cobwebs out. I think a lot of footballers have started training sort of back November, December, a bit like the AFL players, no different. They just love getting out and actually playing in opposition.
Oh, definitely. Like you can do all that warm-up and all that preparation, but matches, I think that's where it really comes to fruition. And we know this because we just had so many calls during the week for canteen supplies and stuff to come through.
Yeah, that mine will be coming shortly, and that's what people need to start getting organised, don't they, Ben? We're only, about 3 weeks away from a lot of clubs starting their season proper, and Sports Support, quite simple. Order online, everything gets delivered to your door. It's quite simple.
Yeah, it does. Look, it saves. We do everything from keg beer to coffee cup. So really, it saves all the volunteers so much time. It's very convenient, and along with some reliable truck drivers that we have that make sure that they get out there on training nights, we can deliver on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday nights and get out to the club straight away.
Yeah, quite simple. Sportsupport.com.au. Log on, and really your one-stop shop for all the things you need for your footy club, whether you're organising the canteen, the bar, merchandise, which clubs will be getting up and operating, trophies a little bit later on the year, helping clubs with events, medical supplies, everything.
Yeah, just about anything that you need from a club, we're able to help you out.
All right. Now we just before we get on to Grant Williams, just a little bit of homework from last week, or a couple little things we need to tidy up just in terms of vouchers.
Yeah, look, there was, we obviously have the vouchers that are available for all of the clubs and all the winners and all the people that have called in. They've got to try and contact us before the end of March. Okay. That's what they need to do. So just jump onto the website, www.sportsupport.com.au. There's a details page there, or a contact us page. Fill in your details and you can do that.
All right, quite simple. Now, the last few weeks we've focused on the Vic Metro Championships, so March 29 at Visy Park, a format that has been restructured for the first time in 15 years. Every suburban football league is taking part. We've heard from some of the coaches from the Southern Footy League, the Western Region Football League, who will be playing in the first game just after 11 a.m. Last week, the EDFL and the NFL coaches joined us discussing their chances on March 29, as we mentioned. Dan Donati, Simon Lethlean will be joining us a little bit later on, but we wanted to touch base with the AFL Victoria General Manager, Grant Williams, who's been kind enough to join us today to tell us about the launch of this concept and how it has all come together. Grant, welcome to the local locker room.
Hi, Brett. Hi, Ben. Thanks very much for having me on.
No worries.
Great to have you on. How did the actual concept actually come to fruition? Because on paper, it looks like it's going to be just a great day of footy with all the leagues playing, and you can not only watch your league, but just stay around for the whole day and watch a great showcase of suburban footy.
Yeah, well, I think you've alluded to the fact that, it did exist some time ago, 15 or so years ago. So, and from time to time, leagues have played each other in representative footy. I suppose for some time, a couple of years now, we've been speaking to Metro leagues in particular, because obviously the well, maybe not obviously, but the country football leagues have their own championships, WorkSafe AFL Victoria Country Championship. So, we just thought it was a good opportunity to, go back to the table, so to speak, with some of our metro leagues who we meet with regularly and say, would you be interested in the concept again? To their credit, and they've been willing to, not only consider it but also be part of it. And so, we think that's that's been terrific cooperation. But we also think it'll be a great day of, community suburban footy.
So, once this day is sort of completed, Grant, have you spoken about what maybe a follow-up will be? Will we maybe see, a Metro v Country sort of clash maybe for later in the year, possibly?
Yeah, we're hoping to, from, there's 6 leagues playing on the 29th, and we're hoping that from that we'll be able to select a Metro representative team to play a representative country team on the 12th of July. And, we hope that again, provides another opportunity just to showcase some of the better players in community footy. And also, on the 29th, the senior leagues in metropolitan footy.
Grant, there's been a lot of interest about how AFL Victoria went about going about deciding where the rankings were. Can you give the listeners a little bit of insight into that?
I wasn't directly involved myself, but some of the people who in our organisation who deal very closely with, metro leagues, sat down and had a bit of a discussion about where we might rank. We also took into account that, Northern Footy League, for instance, near neighbour of Essendon District Footy League, Western Region, and we know the Amateurs have played the Eastern in recent years. I think they played in a, bushfire fundraising game a couple of years ago. So we sort of come up with the 3 games. We didn't really get too many arguments about the so-called rankings, so we thought they must have been, pretty close to the mark. I suppose the rankings are one thing. The main motivation here is to provide opportunity for metro community clubs to represent, the best players in those clubs to represent their league in a one day that, has 3 games, and it'll be a great showcase for those better players and the leagues.
And Grant, what's been the response generally from the leagues when we talk about these sort of concepts? It is about showcasing some of the best talent. Are we going to see that? I mean, we've spoken to some terrific players in the last 8 weeks. We've been doing the local locker room. I imagine just about everyone's probably put their hand up. I mean, it's something you'd want to be a part of, I would think.
Yeah, the timing's, probably a little difficult, Brett, with, being a pre-season game. It's very hard to have every community metro league, put aside a weekend during the season. But given it's a pre-season game, that does come with some difficulties in terms of, newer players to competitions or registrations getting in time. But overall, the response from the leagues has been really positive, and we're really grateful for that. Because, if one league, doesn't want to go into it, then it becomes 5, and suddenly you can't have the same sort of structure we have now. So we've been really grateful for the leagues that have embraced it. We're hoping it'll be a successful day, and once we sit down after that and have a bit of review, we'll find out what might come after that.
Mate, it sounds like it's going to be a great day, and there'll be a whole heap of stars out there showcased on Visy Park, which is a great stadium in itself. What would be the cost to go out and watch the 3 big games, and what sort of crowds are you expecting, mate?
I think the cost is $10 for an adult. If you're 16 or under, it's free, and concessions are about $5. And primarily that's just to cover costs across the afternoon, across the day. We'd hope, we haven't sort of put too much thought into how many people might be there, but we'd hope there might be a couple of thousand over the day. And if there was more than that, that'd be terrific. But again, the prime reason, the prime motivation behind it is to provide an opportunity for the better players within the 6 Metro Senior Leagues to showcase their better players.
It's going to be fantastic. Grant, we caught up with Anthony Stangetz a little bit earlier, Communications Manager at AFL Victoria. VFL season close, TAC Cup season close. A bit going on just to get things underway in the last few weeks. I imagine a little frantic in the AFL Vic office.
Yeah, no, this always is in the lead up to the season, I suppose, for any league, not only AFL Victoria with the TAC and the VFL. But yeah, we have our launch on Tuesday morning out at Whitten Oval. And we're looking forward to that. We've also got a number of other things. In fact, today we've got a game there's a multicultural game, the Unity Cup's on out at JJ Holland Reserve out in North Melbourne as we speak. And I understand there's quite a lot of people out there looking on and participating in that game. And we've also not sure if your listeners are aware, but AFL Victoria is now managing and operating the VWFL, the Victorian Women's Football League, and we have a big day for the launch on Anzac Day for the Victorian Women's Football League. That launch will be at Shepley Oval. There's going to be 3 games on that day as well out there over the day, and so that'll be the launch of the Victorian Women's Footy League too. So there's lots happening in the lead up to the season.
Great stuff. Good on you, Grant. Really appreciate your support. Of course, all the entry passes for the local locker room legends have been made available from AFL Victoria. So thanks for your support. Should be a great day on March 29. Hope it goes well.
Can I just thank you once again to SEN and also to you two, Brett and Ben, for your support. It's been terrific. We really appreciate it. Thanks.
Grant.
Anytime. Grant Williams, good man, AFL Victoria General Manager, joining us. So it is shaping up to be a great day out at Visy Park. All the best players in the One Arena playing off for pride. Plenty of bragging rights. And as mentioned, AFL Victoria have provided the entry passes for Locker Room Hall of Famers that have been voted on by the supporters themselves. 18 players, 1 coach from across Melbourne for the past 15 years.
Yeah, that's right. From the past 15 years, we voted on all of those players, and you did touch on that there was 1 coach, and we haven't put that out to the listeners.
Yeah.
What we did, however, at Sports Support, we took it upon ourselves to appoint a coach of this side. So we thought about how do we decide on this prestigious honour that you could be in the Locker Room Hall of Fame. And we thought, would it be longevity in the game, ultimate success, guidance across a number of levels, the ability to develop players? We didn't know what it would be. But I think we found a guy that maybe fits the bill.
He does. He's got a pretty good rap sheet, and I reckon this guy would be familiar to everyone who's followed local footy. 62 games with Collingwood. Back in the late 70s, won a Copeland Trophy in 76. He then led Greensborough Football Club to a premiership not only in 83, went back-to-back in 1984. He's had stints at numerous amateur clubs, the North Old Boys, EDFL club at West Coburg, the Fitzroy Under-19 team, of course. For 8 years, he headed one of the most successful eras of the TAC Cup at the Calder Cannons, celebrating 20 years, as Anthony Stangets told us a little bit earlier on this afternoon. Won 3 grand finals. He playing in 5 grand finals overall, mentoring names such as Dane Swan, Bolton, of course, James Kelly, Paul Chapman, just to name a few. He led the Vic Country Under-18s team for a number of years. Had a small stint at Carlton's Reserves before heading back to where it all started, which is War Memorial Park, for those out there in the north. The current coach of the Greensborough Football Club and, well, appointed coach of the Locker Room Hall of Fame. I speak of Robert Hyde. He's been kind enough to join us. G'day, Rob.
G'day, gentlemen. How are you?
Very good. It's a long resume, Rob.
Yeah. You should have asked me Mum. She could have written it for you. That would have been about it. But I got your email before, and it's a great honour. Thank you very much to be considered to lead this group of blokes over that period of time. Yeah, I'm really chuffed about it.
4 decades in the game, Robert. You've seen a lot of change. You've seen a lot of guys come through. I mean, what stands out for you in the development of this great game of ours?
Yeah, look, to be honest, everybody, talks about the speed and the athleticism, but I just don't reckon it's changed that much, and that's the beauty of it. When I first started around coaching, and when I first got in the TAC, I rang a bloke, Keith Burns, who's a sort of a living legend and had coached through there, and I said, what do you reckon? He said, well, look, there's 3 ways to look at it. You've got the ball, you haven't got the ball, so how are you going to get back? And it's in dispute, so you've got to try and win it. And still, I reckon those 3 things hold steady, whether it's up in the elite level, they've just got more time and purpose to train them. But those 3 facets hasn't changed, and that's why it's such a good game.
Mate, we mentioned a few names before that you'd coached at Calder Cannons level across the years. Can you let the listeners know what other big names went through the Cannons over your time? And was there any players that were obviously you had some Norm Smith medals and some Brownlow medalists, but were there other players that sort of you thought would go that next level but didn't?
Look, to be honest, we always started off at one stage when I was at Calder. We started with 120 kids, and you had to whittle them down. And I didn't know, from a bar of soap. But I don't reckon over that period of time we missed anybody that you would have gone, gee, we left that kid out and he got drafted. I was just reflected on the question, and even last night I was looking at the GWS, and during my stint at Vic Country, I had kids like Adam Treloar and Lockie Whitfield and Jeremy Cameron and Devon Smith, and those kids come through, and And the guys involved at TAC Cup level, there's some at the Cannons that have been there since the inception for 20 years. And they just take a bit of pride in assisting those kids. Those kids are really talented people, in terms of footy. And you just grind away and you give them a bit of advice, and the trainers rub them down and listen to their problems. And every one of those people takes a bit of pride in watching those guys go a bit further. But, those names are household names. I remember vividly my first year, the two Johnson boys got drafted to Essendon, and I was really proud of that. And they went on to be premiership players and best and fairest winners, and then kids like Richie Douglas, who he's a best and fairest winner at the Adelaide Crows, and he wasn't a big star in the under-19s. Brock McLean, he got drafted as a 17-year-old. I played him as a 16-year-old, and if he didn't get drafted, he's probably going to coach the side, because he had more advice from me than I've had in my whole life. And I just even now, Ryan Crowley's a perfect example. He's a household name.
Beauty.
And he wasn't the hardest, toughest kid I've ever coached. He was an athlete. He was a 3K runner, and I'm thinking maybe they'll take a chance on him. And now, he's just a super player, and he's changed his perception and the way he goes about his business. And I reckon that's great credit to him.
Yeah, no doubt. Robert Hyde joining us. We could probably talk to Rob for an hour, but Rob, we're a little bit pressed for time. But I want to ask you about your involvement now at Greensborough. I mean, you talk about the Cannons, the AFL players you had a bit to do with, but going back to Metropolitan footy. I mean, this is a club that obviously is trying to get back on the rise. I mean, as a coach, I mean, can you have you had to change much in the way you go about it, sort of stepping down a tier to Metro footy?
Yeah, look, it's taken me 12 months just because when I was at the elite level, you'd ask the kids to jump and they'd say how high do you want, but me to jump. But the blokes are blokes, they've all got to work, they've all got jobs. Some of them are sticking fat at Greensborough. The committee are working super hard. The sponsors like Johns Lyng and Lennon House. It's hard to get money off these people for local footy. It's a donation. And the committee are hard working, and the players we've got are really good. We're a young side, so we're pressing up. Well, I hope we're pressing up this year.
Well, mate, really big things for Greensborough, I hope, this year. I reckon that you can push into that top 3 bracket. There's no doubt there, mate. Thanks for joining us. Congratulations on being coach of the Locker Room Hall of Fame. Good luck for the season. Is there anything else, just very, very quickly?
No, I'm just really looking forward to it, and local footy's a good game to be involved with.
Yeah, great stuff. Rob, really appreciate your time. Robert Hyde, the coach there, and a man with just, so much vast experience. We read that resume. He's been involved at VFL level, Metropolitan level. Just covered every spectrum of footy really. Vic Country as well, looking after a lot of our lads outside of Metropolitan Melbourne. We're with the local Locker Room. We're talking plenty of local footy. We're building up to the Metro Championships on March 29. Plenty more to come in just a moment.
Hungry for Sport with Kevin Bartlett.
Big week on the show with the build-up to round 1. Patrick Smith was not backing away from his comments regarding Andrew Demetriou.
My words were there was great force to the argument that suggested that he may have sat down with the Commission and said, I think it's time to go, and the Commission would have said it's definitely time to go.
And Bulldogs President Peter Gordon told us that the push is still strong from clubs to play footy on Good Friday.
There was a polite silence from Andrew Demetriou, but I understand that's even a shift of position from where he'd previously been. People in clubland, there's absolute unanimity about it.
Catch on Monday along with Patrick Smith and his famous Goose and Goose Award, plus Dr. Turf is in the house.
Hungry for Sport with Kevin Bartlett for the new Zenon Dual Cab 4x4. Made tough in India, made perfect for Australia. 9 till midday weekdays on 1116 SEN. Melbourne's home of sport.
This week's SEN Inside Football has something for every footy fan. We give you the last-minute take on every listed AFL player, who is underdone, who is in form, and who could be a surprise starter in round 1. It's the most up-to-date guide available, so it's a must for anyone who wants that last-minute edge. Daniel Harford looks at footy's last chance saloon, the men who need to put in a big season to save their careers, and Nathan Burke uses old stats to compare the greats of the past with those in the modern era. SEN Inside Football for the fair dinkum footy fan. On sale at your newsagent now, or get it online at sen.com.au.
Hello. Thousands of people every week are now mistake-proofing their new home or renovating decisions using Digital Decorator. Digital Decorator, the world's leading decorating software, shows you what every room looks like before your project starts. It's free at nationaltiles.com.au. With Digital Decorator, Choose not only National Tiles, but Australia's leading brands of bricks, paints, carpets, bench tops and more. Digital Decorator, free at nationaltiles.com.au now.
Sports Betting Mate is that little voice on your shoulder that whispers in your ear when you're thinking about a punt on the footy. You know, kind of like that bloke who knows a bloke, but everything you need is right there in your hand. Sports Betting Mate tells you what's a good thing and what to steer clear of. You don't just get inside info, you get the facts, figures and stats to back up your own knowledge of the game. So what does Sports Betting Mate say about this round of footy? Find out right now at sportsbettingmate.com.
You're lying comfortably in bed, but you know you've got to get up. So you slip off your comfort foam mattress and slip into your new Skechers Memory Foam footwear. It's like floating on air. Your feet are in a cloud. It's like being in a dream. In your Skechers Memory Foam footwear, you float out into the day as if your feet never hit the ground. So comfortable, so squishy, so lightweight. Skechers Memory Foam footwear. It's like a pillow for your feet. Skechers.com.au.
It's a well-known fact that ladies like a man who can make them laugh, and a date night at the Comics Lounge is the best way to make your lady laugh. Dinner, drinks, and the very best stand-up comedians from Australia and around the world. She'll have a great time, and you'll get the fringe benefits. Call the Comics Lounge right now and book in your date night. Save 20% with the promo code Date Night. The best stand-up comedy in town, 6 nights a week, 52 weeks a year. The Comics Lounge, Errol Street, North Melbourne. thecomicslounge.com.au.
Think you know who'll win the SEN Trojan Hand Tools Player of the Year? Then send your nomination to footy@sen.com.au for your chance to win a $3,000 Trojan Toolkit. On 1116 SEN, you're listening to Sunday Sports Central with Brett Phillips.
Welcome back at 27 past 3. A-League from 4, AFL footy from 6 tonight. Plenty of live sport on the way. Ben Charles is with me from sportsupport.com.au. Log on. They'll look after you if you're a footy club out there in the build-up to your seasons, all starting around that second week of April, and bringing us a local locker room each week. We've been focusing on the championships, of course, the Metro Champs, coming up on March 29 at Visy Park. Last week we were joined by Punt Club Success Stories, another thing we've been telling you about, which is a great fundraiser for footy clubs out there. Really good success story. Jamie O'Keefe and his group of mates across Australia, how they used the kitty to get a weekend away with the boys, grab exclusive seats to the Cox Plate. Joining us this week, the CEO of the Punt Club, Jason Neve, on how the 2014 Punters Club Cup is shaping up for season 2014. Jason, welcome back to the program.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. Afternoon, boys.
Good to have you on. Clubs, of course, Jason can share in $10,000 worth of prizes for being involved with the 2014 Punters Club Cup with 2 weeks until kick-off. Just take us through how it's all shaping up.
Yeah, look, we've got quite a few existing Punters clubs have signed up and plenty of new ones too. So with 2 weeks to go, there's already a fair crew. And, well, with the start of the AFL season this week, most of the people that have already entered have already started having a crack.
Oh, that's great. And we spoke earlier in the week too, just offline, about a charity team that's involved as well. Who's that made up of and how does that work?
Yeah, it's just through mutual friends and it's stuff. We've got a few of the guys from different media outlets are coming in and, you know, having a bet each week and to compete in the Punters Club Cup, but they've kindly offered to donate their winnings to charity, not just their winnings if they win the cup itself, but, you know, their kitty at the end of the year, which could be however many thousands of dollars that they managed to put away, will go to charity at the end of the year as well. So.
And you talked about some really good numbers so far, and betting has begun for some. Any wins of note so far?
Yeah, well, funnily enough, the charity crew has bounced into second place on the ladder after the first punt, so Tommy Chadwick from Fox Sports managed to go into a half-time, full-time double for Freo against the Pies, and they obviously saluted. So they're sitting in second place, and so Tom gets to bet again. But you know, behind him we've got Tom Steinford from Channel 9, and Pete McDonald, and Tom Wren from Channel 9, and also Alex Hart from Channel 7 as well. So a few of those media guys are putting their money where their mouth is and donating some money to charity, which is cool.
Jason, who are the guys betting on? Is it just race horses, or is it footy as well?
No, look, it's a mixture of both, you know. So Tom's bet was on some footy, but most of the guys are also having a crack at the Nags. I mean, the team that's coming first is the Wairarapis, and those guys were having some success over the last couple of weeks with the horses, and but they would have gone a whole lot further ahead. They cleverly, I think their last bet was Greater Western Sydney into Buffering at Randwick yesterday. So had Buffering saluted, they might have shot a fair way north of the rest of the crew. But thankfully, they're still right there, and the top 10 teams are bunched up pretty tight. And but at the end of the season, we're going to have probably 30 odd clubs will go through to the finals, and everyone will have their return on investment figures wiped, and they'll get to start again and have a crack over that sort of 4 or 5 weeks in September leading into the granny.
And you talked a little bit about footy, mate. Was there many on the Pies, do you know? And is there any odds on where they might finish in the top 8?
Well, it's funny. I was on the Pies, erroneously as it turns out. And now there's some question marks about whether they make the 8 or not. But look, the common consensus is that we think they should make the 8, but Nathan might have some question marks over his long-term tenure if they don't do pretty sharp again this year.
No doubt. www.sportsupport.com.au. Just click on the Punters Cup tile. It'll take you through to the details page. Entries are a 3-minute process. Simple as that. Jason, good luck with it. The 2014 Punters Club Cup. There's the website details. Clubs can have a good crack at that. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, and there's 2 weeks left to sign up. So if you want to get in before the 1st of April, you'll be in it to win it.
Great stuff. Jason Neve from Punt Club joining us. A nice little fundraiser for clubs to consider as they work their way through the season. We've mentioned quite a bit over the last few weeks that the VAFA has plenty of history that honours the representatives of their leagues, and also the Big V Luncheon is an annual charity event that attracts plenty of attention, highlighting representatives for their service. Our next 2 guests have been part of that makeup, even though one will be coaching the EFL. But before we get to Dan, we've been lucky enough to grab some time with Simon Leflin, of course, the VAFA head coach. He's also the AFL General Manager of Broadcasting, Scheduling and Major Projects. He's got a bit on his plate. Simon, good to talk to you.
G'day, guys. How you going?
Yeah, we're going particularly well. On a professional level, as we mentioned, you're obviously involved quite a bit with the AFL, so it's top-level stuff in terms of management, but this is a little bit more grassroots, coming out and coaching at metropolitan footy level.
Yeah, look, I've obviously coached old Zavs in the amateurs for 3 years back in, I think, 08, 9, 10, so haven't been doing that since then, but been coaching the VAFA rep side for the last 3 years, so it's a bit of fun just to stay in touch with local footy and keep the toe in the water coaching-wise, so I really enjoy it.
And you are at the top level of AFL. Since Andrew's announcement that he's going to hang up the boots, have you walked past his office and noticed his feet on the desk and him working hard at trying to crack solitaire or anything like that?
No, Andrew's always hard at work, but no, it's a big announcement, obviously, a couple of weeks ago now, and after 11 years he's done a great job at the AFL, and we're looking forward to I guess seeing who his replacement will be and taking from there. But no, he's not a solitaire man. He's always hard at work.
Yeah, absolutely. Simon, you've coached 3 games of rep footy versus the EFL, AFL New South Wales and the Victorian Country Footy League. You've been lucky enough to win all those games. Has the focus been slightly different this time around with the added element of the undisputed suburban footy crown? There's a bit at stake on March 29.
Yeah, I suppose it is. It's great that AFL Vic have sort of organised this carnival. We played EFL 2 years ago now, at the same time of year for pre-season, and had a win then, probably just snuck over the line against a team that was, as good, if not better than us at times during the day. So it should be a pretty hard contest. Difficult this time of year to get a team together based on reputation rather than form sometimes. So it should be a good day, and hopefully a good carnival of footy at Princes Park.
And you speak about the best people being available, mate. Has the wish list been filled by the best available squad? Is there anyone new to the squad, or is there anyone of note that's missing, or is there anyone that we can really keep our eye on when they're playing?
Look, without giving too much away, we beat the Victorian Country last year, and I reckon there's probably about 10 guys from that 22 that either can't play or overseas or have changed leagues. So we'll have a pretty big turnover as far as representation from that side goes, which is a good thing, I guess, for some fresh faces. We've got some really good players back to the amateurs who have been good players in the past, like Matt Fielden has been at Casey for a couple of years, and Sam Williams has been at Collingwood for a couple of years. Caden Beetham is back from Sorrento and a few others. So we've got some good replacements on that front, but business is how we go. I think the EFL will be pretty strong, so it should be a good hit out.
Hey, Simon, what can you tell us about Dan Donati, the coach of the EFL, and just the style he'll bring?
Well, Dan obviously been successful with Bourne the last 2 years. I think he's a different person from the Dan that I played with when he was a sort of a runabout rogue 25-year-old peanut. But he's a good man, Dan. He's good fun. I reckon, knowing Dan, he'll get his players playing for him. He's such a good bloke and such a passionate guy. So having a coach that's coaching currently in the EFL will be, I think, a positive for those guys. So I think he's got 10 guys from Bourne in his squad too. So that'll be a good, strong side, and I think they'll be really competitive.
Well, we're about to get the right to reply. Simon, good luck, of course, shouldering the responsibility of leading the VAFA.
No worries, guys. Before I go, I just want one quick happy birthday to a friend of mine, Harper James, whose birthday has been recently. I want to say hello. He listens to your show all the time, so thanks for that.
Good on you, mate. Simon Lethlean, one of the head honchos of the AFL, coaching the VAFA. Listening to that, just to, counter that argument, is Dan Donati. He coaches Baldwin in the EFL. He'll be coaching the EFL representative sign. Daniel, welcome.
Thanks very much, boys.
Bit of history between you two.
I like the reference to being a peanut, Lethers. Thanks for that, mate. Look, he's a great man, Lethers. We played a bit of footy at Old Zavs together and have caught up regularly over the years. So, it was nice to hear him speak. Actually, looking forward to catching up in a couple of weeks.
Mate, unbelievable streak of success fellows you made. Multiple premierships, both as a player and as a coach at VAFA level, AFL reserves, VFL, EFL, and now back-to-back premierships as a coach at the Baldwin Tigers. Would it be a nice another level of success to get this win?
Oh, look, absolutely. I think you're element of luck involved in all that sort of stuff. Being around the right football clubs at the right time, I've been very lucky as a player and now as a coach of a great footy club. I'm fortunate with that. But this would be just another, I suppose, feather in the cap. But it's an honour to be a part of it. So if we can have a win, that'd be great.
Daniel, the Eastern Footy League, from the outside looking in, seems to focus on younger players from the VFL ranks rather than sort of a lot of the ex-superstar AFL players. Will that be the same trend in terms of picking the team to represent the EFL for March 29?
Oh, yeah, look, the competition, it's a very strong competition. We do attract a lot of young boys who maybe miss out on the draft or have played a bit of VFL footy and sort of come back and want to play a decent level of local footy, and they seem to be picking the EFL at the moment. Our squad, I think we've got two guys that have got AFL experience. I think that's probably it. Simon Taylor played 80-odd games for the Hawks in the ruck, and Joel Perry played 8 games for North Melbourne. So, look, we've got local boys. We've got Eastern Football League players in the squad, and that'll make up the majority of the team.
And Simon quickly touched on the amount of people from Baldwin that are in there. There is the 3 big power clubs in Vermont and also Noble Park there. But is there a scattering from across EFL as well?
Oh, absolutely. Look, I think there are actually 8 born or maybe 9 in the squad at the moment. There's 5 or 6 from Vermont. There's 4 or 5 from Noble Park. We've got 3 from Nord, 3 really good players there. We've got players basically across, a couple of boys from Rowville as well in the squad, and guys from other divisions as well. Christian Arcus from Doncaster and Dean Grice from Boronia. So we've got a scattering basically from all the divisions, but the majority are made up from the Division 1 teams.
Great stuff. Daniel, nice to spend a couple of moments with you. Good luck on March 29, a very strong league, the Eastern Football League. I'm sure they'll put up a great show.
Yeah, good on you guys. Thanks very much.
Daniel Donati wearing the Baldwin Footy Club hat, took over from our very own Daniel Harford, of course, after half. He did a great job out there at Baldwin. We've got about a minute and a half, mate, so we're going to get through the rest pretty quickly. They're just waving to me out the back. Let's keep moving along. It's been great. We've been doing this show for about 8 weeks. This is our last one. And there's just a little bit of things we need to tidy up.
Oh, no, look, just the local locker room, the legends there. We posted that on the Facebook site there yesterday. So if you do need to go to that, go to facebook.com/sports support. You'll see all those. Robert Hyde joined the group today, and there was another 6 players from the Eastern Footy League and also the Amateurs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great to do it with you. Sports Support is certainly one that all clubs should log on to, sportsupport.com.au, because really, if you're a club out there and it's damn tough running a footy club, if you can have a one-stop shop that can look after you, I recommend Sports Support to log on to if you're just running around frantically, which a lot of clubs are doing now with 3 or 4 weeks until the season starts. So we can't wait. Bit of local footy, that's what we love, getting out in the terraces.
Get out there. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Good on you, Ben. Nice to spend some time with you over the build-up to the footy season. We're coming back with Tony Shebeki. He's going to catch up with Will Minson down at Albert Park. We're going to get out to Amy Park as well. Matty Campbell gamble with all the sports odd, the